Look at this route, Los Angeles to Tokyo. One of the busiest flight paths on Earth. The plane doesn't fly straight across the Pacific. It curves north, toward Alaska, near Russia. It looks completely wrong. But here's the thing nobody tells you at the gate. That route, the one that looks longer, gets that plane to Tokyo almost 2 hours earlier than the straight path would 2 hours faster. By going further. That is not a mistake. That is not a coincidence. That is the result of mathematics, invisible atmospheric forces, and a set of safety rules so serious that breaking them could cost hundreds of lives. And in the next 18 minutes, you're going to understand all of it. Before we go further, drop your answer in the comments right now. What do you think the real reason is? The Pacific is too dangerous to cross directly. B. Fuel efficiencies on the curved route. C. Something to do with the shape of the Earth itself. Write it down. We'll come back to it, because I promise you the actual answer involves all three. And one of them is going to genuinely surprise you. Here is where this story begins, not with planes, not with pilots, with a map. Specifically the map you've seen your entire life. The one on classroom walls, on Google, on every atlas ever printed. This map was drawn in 1569 by a cartographer named Gerardus Mercator. He wasn't trying to show the world accurately. He was trying to help sailors navigate in straight lines without their compasses going wrong. It worked brilliantly for sailors in the 1500s. For everyone else who has used it for the last 450 years, it has quietly created a completely distorted picture of our planet. Here's a small example of how distorted. Greenland on this map looks almost as large as Africa. In reality, Africa is 14 times bigger than Greenland. 14. Alaska appears larger than Brazil. Brazil is 5 times bigger than Alaska. The map isn't wrong. It's just designed for something it was never meant to do, show you accurate distances across a sphere. And here is where it connects to your flight. Take a globe, put your finger on Los Angeles. Put another finger on Tokyo. Now stretch a string as tightly as you can between those 2 points, the most direct path a string can physically take across a sphere. Watch where that string goes. It doesn't cross the Pacific. It curves upward through the North Pacific, near Alaska, near Russia. That string that perfectly taut, mathematically direct path is called a Great Circle route. It is the shortest distance between any 2 points on a sphere. Not because it looks short, because geometry says it is short. When you flatten that arc onto a 2D map, it looks curved, longer, wrong. But the Earth doesn't care what it looks like on paper. The Earth behaves very differently than it appears on a flat surface. And every commercial airline on the planet has known this since the first transoceanic flights began. Right now, at this exact second, there are approximately 10,000 commercial aircraft in the air. Every single one of them is following a Great Circle route. Invisible curved highways carved through the sky by mathematics alone. You've flown these highways yourself. The plane just never announced it. Now here is where the story gets genuinely remarkable. The Great Circle route explains the curve. But it doesn't explain the full picture. Because above the Pacific, above every ocean, above every continent, there exists something most passengers never think about. An invisible highway of air, moving at up to 400 kilometers per hour. It's called the jet stream, and pilots don't just cross the ocean, they hunt it. Picture a river. Not a small river. A river hundreds of kilometers wide, flowing 10,000 meters above the surface of the Earth, moving faster than Formula One cars. This river circles the entire northern hemisphere, constantly shifting position slightly each day, strengthening and weakening with the seasons, but always there. For a commercial aircraft flying at 900 kilometers per hour, this river changes everything. Flying west from America toward Asia, the jet stream blows directly against the aircraft. A 300 to 400 km/h wall of wind pushing backward against a plane already burning enormous amounts of fuel. Flight times stretch. Fuel consumption spikes. Airlines lose thousands of dollars per flight, so pilots route around it. They find calm air, even if that means adjusting the path, because fighting that river head-on for 10 hours is a battle no airline wants to pay for. Flying east from Asia toward America, the same river becomes the most powerful tailwind on Earth. A pilot riding the jet stream doesn't fight it. He surfs it. Aircraft speed plus 400 km/h wind becomes effective ground speed, approaching 1,200 km/h. The Pacific, which took 11 hours going west, suddenly takes 9 going east. Same aircraft, same engines, same pilot. The wind does the rest. And here's something that almost nobody knows. Some flights riding a powerful jet stream actually arrive so early, so far ahead of schedule, that pilots are forced to deliberately slow the aircraft down. Not because anything is wrong, but because the airport gate isn't ready yet. The plane is literally moving faster than the airport expected. The sky has its own traffic problem, and most passengers sleep right through it. Now I want you to stop for a moment. Think about the Pacific Ocean at night, seen from cruising altitude. No cities, no coastlines, no lights from ships, no light at all, just black water in every direction. For thousands and thousands of kilometers. This is what a pilot sees when something goes wrong over the Central Pacific at 2 a.m. In 2005, a commercial aircraft operating over the Pacific experienced a series of electrical failures mid-flight. Systems began shutting down one by one. Inside the cabin, passengers adjusted their blankets, watched their movies, had no idea anything was happening. Inside the cockpit, the pilots were doing something very different. They were calculating, minute by minute. Fuel against distance, distance against the nearest runway. Every airport within range ranked by how quickly they could reach it if the situation worsened. The flight diverted safely. Passengers landed shaken but unhurt. But that moment, that quiet, invisible calculation happening above a black ocean at 2 a.m. is exactly why a rule exists that most passengers have never heard of. It's called ETOPS, Extended Range Twin Engine Operational Performance Standards. The rule is simple. A twin-engine commercial aircraft must, at every single point during its flight, be within a set number of minutes from a suitable emergency airport, assuming it has lost one engine and is flying on the remaining one alone. Most aircraft are ETOPS 180 certified. 3 hours, that's the window. If something goes wrong anywhere on the route, engine failure, pressurization issue, medical emergency serious enough to require immediate landing, that aircraft must be no more than 180 minutes from a runway. Now, think about what happens if you draw a straight line across the Central Pacific, Los Angeles directly to Tokyo, and then look at every airport that falls within 180 minutes of that path. You will find hundreds of kilometers of open ocean where there is nothing. No emergency option, no diversion point, no runway reachable in time, just the black water. Now think about the northern route, the curved one that looks wrong on the flat map, the Aleutian Islands, military airstrips in Alaska, airports in the Russian Far East, emergency facilities positioned along the route at intervals that never leave an aircraft more than 90 minutes from safety. That curve isn't about efficiency. That curve is a legal requirement designed around a single question. If everything goes wrong right now, where do we land? The northern route always has an answer to that question. The straight Pacific crossing sometimes doesn't. The next time you look at a curved flight path and think, why didn't they just go straight? Remember that cockpit. Remember those pilots. Remember the calculations happening above a black ocean while you sleep. Every curve on that map is someone looking out for you, even when you don't know it. If this is changing how you think about flying hit-like, it takes 1 second and it genuinely helps this channel reach more people. Subscribe if you want to know why aircraft tires spinning from 0 to 300 kilometers per hour in the half second they touch the runway don't simply explode on landing. That video is already up. Now one more reason, and this one connects everything. The Central Pacific is one of the most meteorologically volatile regions on Earth. Typhoon systems that develop faster than forecasters can track. Intense low-pressure zones that appear suddenly and create conditions no pilot wants to fly through unnecessarily. Weather patterns that behave differently above open ocean than above land, because there's nothing to slow them down, nothing to break the energy. Modern pilots don't plan a route and fly it like a fixed road. They treat every long-haul flight like navigating a moving puzzle, adjusting the path in real time, based on live weather data, satellite feeds, and reports from other aircraft already in the air. Every day, the route from Los Angeles to Tokyo is slightly different, not dramatically. But the exact path shifts sometimes north, sometimes south, based on where the jet stream sits that morning, where the storm systems are building, where the smoothest, safest corridor of air happens to be on that specific day. 2 flights leaving on the same route on consecutive days will follow paths that look almost identical, but are never truly the same. The sky is not a fixed road, it is a moving, breathing, constantly shifting environment, and pilots read it every single time they fly. Here is a fact I want to leave you with. The fastest commercial flight ever recorded from New York to London, a route very similar in principle to the Pacific crossings we've been discussing, completed the journey in 4 hours and 56 minutes. The normal flight time is around 7 hours. The plane saved over 2 hours. The crew didn't push the engines harder. They didn't take a shortcut through restricted airspace. They didn't do anything unusual. They positioned the aircraft inside the jet stream with extraordinary precision, riding it like a wave, and let 400 kilometers per hour of invisible atmospheric energy carry them across the Atlantic nearly 2 hours ahead of schedule. No extra fuel burned, no risk added. Just a perfect understanding of forces that most passengers don't know exist. I want to hear from you right now. What is the longest flight you have ever taken? Did you look at the route and wonder why it curved the way it did? And now that you know, does it change how you think about it? Tell me below. I read every comment on this channel, every single one. Every curved line you see on a flight map is the result of mathematics, atmospheric physics, safety, human judgment, all working together. Invisibly above your head. Most passengers never think about any of it. They board, they sit, they arrive, they leave, but somewhere above a black ocean at 35,000 feet, while most of the cabin sleeps, a pilot is reading the sky, adjusting the route, choosing the path that gets you there safely, efficiently, and quietly. You never see it. You never feel it, but it happens on every single flight. And now you understand something most passengers never will. The next time your flight curves toward Alaska instead of crossing straight over the Pacific, remember, the sky has roads too. You just can't see them. Next video is already waiting. Why aircraft tires don't explode on landing, despite hitting the runway with the force of a small earthquake. It's right there. I'll see you in it.